Hello everyone, my name is Greg Furman, market analyst here at TraderPlanet.com, and these are the market positions for May the 24th, 2011. Now to get started here, we've got kind of a dual trade we're going to start with here. We've got a gold trade, and I'm going to split it up into two specific markets here, into the futures market and into the actual stock or ETF market. Now our first one is in the gold futures. Specifically, what I think is going to happen in the Eurozone is going to continue to crumble. People are going to move off into safe haven flows. That would be the US dollar and more than likely gold. So how we're going to play this to start with, looking at the gold futures, we can see we've closed at 15.15. Vantage point support coming in at 1508, trailing down to 1501. 1501.90. Now we can see the predicted short, medium, and long-term differences are all breaking positive. Now again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at these crossovers. You can see that the short-term crossover from Vantage Point is already starting to turn to the upside. That's a couple of days old. Our medium-term crossover is just crossing over the trigger. That looks very good. And again, our long-term crossover, it's getting ready to cross also. Now, when I say I'm going to split this up over two markets, we're also going to be looking at the IAU, the COMEX Gold Trust. But first, let's go back in and finish this trade. So we've identified that it's more than likely, based on speculation, that safe haven flows are going to move into gold denominated assets. So looking at 1504.40, 1526.50 is the Vantage Point predicted high and predicted low for the day. So between 15, your more aggressive traders, I always give two options here. More aggressive traders, 1508. Less aggressive traders, but still want to stay with this move, 1504, getting back into long positions at that level. Now again, the initial target will be 1526 on the top side, but 1580 cannot be ruled out if the Eurozone continues to essentially crumble. Now we're going to have a couple of positions here tonight. We're going to actually have three positions, but this is kind of again somewhat of a dual position. Now by a dual position means we want to get into gold. Futures is not always the best market for everybody, and I certainly agree with that statement. We can see that we have a very similar signal here on the iShares COMEX Gold Trust, the IAU. Excuse me. Now how we would play this is very similar to gold. Now I don't think we want to do both at the same time. We want to do one or the other, but the IAU is going to move in a lot slower fashion than what the gold futures are going to move. So the key level here is 1468. We've closed at 1482, 1475, 1470, and 1468 are the three Vantage Point predicted moving averages. Again, just like the gold futures, you can see the predicted short, medium, and long-term differences are all crossing the trigger and by this, in this particular trigger that I'm making reference to is of course the zero line. So everything pointing positive for this also. Now because we're moving slower, again, if we can pick up 50 cents, 60 cents on a $14 a share ETF like that, that's a very good move on a percentage basis. Now looking at this, we can see we have 1471 is the low, 1492 is the high. So again, much like those gold contracts, 1471 is the area we would look to enter into this long. The initial target is 1492, but that certainly can't rule out that we're not going to move back to this 1540 area or possibly even higher in the days, weeks, and months ahead. So again, we have a short-term play, a medium-term play, and there's certainly, I think, a longer-term play that supports a bigger move up on these gold contracts. Now, I can't be sure that the same thing is going to happen with silver. I think it's somewhat unlikely at this point. I think they're going to move into gold before silver, and they're going to move into the US dollar and potentially even the yen. But they'll also be looking at gold-based trades, which could bring some strength into the Swiss franc. So these are our two gold trades. There's two options there. Your less aggressive traders can go into the ETF, and it's much slower moving, nothing to panic about. And your more aggressive traders can get into gold futures, both of which I think are a pretty decent trade. Now those are our first two trades. Now our third trade, we're going to be going into the foreign exchange market. Now we're going to again be looking at the dollar-yen currency pair. Specifically, we can see that we have a very clean signal starting here from Vantage Point on the dollar-yen currency pair. If I'm going to buy dollars, This is a tricky trade because whether the dollar strengthens or whether it weakens, I believe the dollar yen will go up. And these two currencies actually really do move in tandem. They're both strong or weak together, but either way, my view is the dollar yen is moving higher. We're just on the verge here of a fresh triple EMA cross from Vantage Point. We've had a full retracement today. You can see right down to the low of the day, 81.32. Our 18-day predicted moving average, our major support line, 81.43, 81.50, and 81.82. Now, what I really like about this trade also is the predicted MACD, the predicted true strength indicator, both crossing the trigger in heavily oversold territory. So everything here tells me, again, that we're going to get into a trending move on the dollar yen pair. So again, we can identify very critical support sitting at 81.43. So from here we can go into the daily report from Vantage Point and fine tune our entry point. And again, we're only looking to go long on here. We've got, these are the closing prices for the last few days, 81.60, 81.66, and then 81.99. Even though we had somewhat of a soft day on the dollar yen pair, we still had a very strong close, so the buyers are clearly there. So for tomorrow, we've got 81.75, 82.44. Again, your aggressive traders, 81.75 is your target entry area. Your less aggressive traders, between 81.75 and 81.43 is an excellent opportunity. Bit of a concern here for me is we've had the neural index up for this many days in a row. We did have a very good retracement though last night down to the 81.30 level. I believe that is our retracement for the next day or two, and we're going to again go after that key resistance point up in that 82.20 area. So those are the market positions for May the 24th, 2011. And again, my name is Greg Furman, market analyst here at TraderPlanet.com.